personal branding. We're a few seconds early because I want to make sure everything gets set up. Susan Kelly, hey, I saw a bunch of people in. Some of my trusty boot campers are here. Mom's here. Lily, hey. Saul, I saw. Laura Cobb. Oh, you guys are the best. All right, hey, got a great show for you today. I'm on YouTube. I know that's working, and because I can see myself in about 8 different screens. And we should be on Facebook, and we should be on LinkedIn as well. Everything should be good to go. I want to tell you what today is all about. We're going to be on a couple of hours, I would guess, and I just felt like you needed to hear this one today. We've all been through a lot this year, and lots of weird stuff's happening to us with this pandemic, and I wanted to bring you something special that is from inside my leadership program. I got my black hoodie on today, and it's about how to build your personal brand. Now, whether you like it or not, you have one. Okay, so it's important that it looks good. And I'm going to teach you everything you need to consider and think about and strategize about and ponder and review and research and do to get in order. Now, just a quick couple of things. I'm going to open this up. We're going to talk for a few minutes. I want to explain to you what to expect today. You'll know I'm live talking to you if I'm in the black outfit with my leader's hoodie. And the reason I'm wearing my leader hoodie today is, well, not only for this special event, but I could have worn my leader t-shirt. But it's, summer. I don't know what happened to it. It was so rude it didn't even say goodbye. It was like I was running in 98-degree weather and it's 58 out right now. It's like, bang, it's gone. So, and then you're going to see me in a recording from one of my private group coaching sessions with my leadership group. That's me in my white t-shirt. So what's this all about? I'm going to give you all the steps and all that good stuff related to building a great online and offline brand. It's with you all the time. Okay, and I'm gonna teach you about that. We're gonna go through the concepts. We're gonna go through the psychology. We're gonna go through all the tactics. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play the recording here in a few minutes, but I have a couple questions for you before we start, and I want to make sure that I know you can see this wherever it is that you are. And Stacy and Kara, let me know if we're good on Facebook and LinkedIn. So you're welcome to watch this, but if you want the workbook that I give to my leadership group each month, I create we do a talk like the one you're going to see. I also give them a workbook, and that workbook, just so you know what this looks like, you need to register for the event in order to get this workbook. So this is the workbook that accompanies what I'm speaking about today. I've typed it all out for you. I've written it all out. This is what you're going to get. This is what I'm going to review. And then I'm going to walk you through all of these concepts, why your brand is important, figuring out who you are and where you're going, and all this good stuff. And then there are some thought provokers at the end, and a challenge to help you implement your brand. If you want that workbook, you need to make sure that you are registered for the event, because after the event is over, we're going to send you an email and I'm going to give you the download button to grab that workbook, but I need to know who to send it to. Okay, so make sure you're registered. Kara and or Stacy, put the registration link in the chats. The registration link has been in the emails that I've been sending you all week about one of my personal stories related to my brand. I sent you that on Sunday, and then I've been sending you messages about my habits and discipline, some focal points, focus stuff, and all that good stuff, my routines, and you've been getting those throughout the week. So this little kind of value week, so to speak, is culminating with this. And one other thing is, if you do like what you're seeing today, I have a $1 trial going on in this leadership program that ends tonight. It ends tonight at 5 o'clock my time, so it ends in a few hours. If you are interested in trying it out for a 7-day pass, you will get to see some lessons like this one. If you enroll in the full membership, which I will show you later, you'll get access to all the assets that are in there. So I wanted to let you know that. Now, here's what I want you to know. Make sure you're signed up. If you are in my leadership program, put your leadership hashtag on my. I'm always backwards. Put your leader hashtag out there. We want to give you a shout out. Maybe you can share your experiences in the program. I also want to know. Please tell me this. What you do. Give me your verb noun. I coach people. What do? You run projects. You're a project manager. Give me your descriptor, and then tell me what your single biggest issue is with building your personal brand, because I want to answer some of these to kick off the Q&A when the session is over. Okay, please tell me that. And number 2, I would love for you to tell me if you're following me on Instagram, you're getting my today's tips. They're my little selfie videos that I put out every single day. I put one out today on why we tend to undervalue ourselves. Okay, that was the topic. And I told you exactly why we tend to undervalue ourselves. Now, by design, I made sure that I created that one for you today and released it today because it bears on this discussion. There's a reason we undervalue ourselves, and it's going to be a common theme that you need to go back to, because as part of building your personal brand, you are going to overlook a number of things that are vital, that would elevate your brand. It would skyrocket your brand, but you just dismiss it. So why is it? I want who can tell me, first person, because I got awards today. Who can tell me the reason that I cited in that 3-minute and 40-second video on why we tend to overvalue ourselves? Tell me what that is. We're keeping track at home, folks. So do that. Get in and say hi. And I think that's about it. I am now going to play the video, and the video is going to come up, and I'm going to pause it because I want to slide it to the starting point. For some reason, I couldn't figure out. I don't think my little tool here lets me do that. But I hope you enjoy this. This is going to be about 57 minutes. I'm going to be with you here every minute. So I'll be watching the chat and all that good stuff. Say hi and all that good stuff. So let me get to you. So what you're watching is a private group coaching session that I did back in December 2019 with my leaders. And give me one. I only have. All right. Today, personal branding. You all have one. It's not just for people like me. So I'm going to take you through just a few historical moments in my life where I used my personal brand to do things that I think you will find analogous in your life. And one thing, and I'll ask you along the way what some of your struggles are and some other things to engage you, because I'd like to use some of your personal stories as examples throughout this talk. But let's think about why it's, so let me back up. In the digital world we live in, where if you are like 99% of you that are white collar workers of some kind, whether you're an accountant, a project manager, a finance person, a CEO, an engineer, a technology, whatever you are, you do have a personal brand, a digital footprint of some kind, even if it's nothing more than your LinkedIn profile. But I think in this day and age, there are a lot of good reasons for you to have more than just that. And I think it will help you in the long run, not to mention, even in the short term, make your life a lot better. And you don't have to spend as much time building your personal brand as I do, because it's so vital to my business and me as a public figure and a coach. But I thought there's kind of 3 really good reasons that I wanted to call your attention to. There's the outside world in people you might want to attract for your career progression. How do you look as a professional to those who might want to recruit you, hire you, ask you to speak at their networking group for their company? who knows, whatever you might be able to do with the outside world to raise your own career, that's a great one. So for some of you that are in my job search curriculum that are actually job searching, this is a great thing for you to do, right? But you don't have to be job searching to build up your brand, because your brand builds over time. The more you put out there, the better it will become. And I'm not just talking about online, and we'll go through all the things that I think are really important. The other thing is inside your organization. So what about, wouldn't you say that the brand that you establish about yourself, that reputation, what people think about you inside your own organization, is going to be helpful to move it, not only getting along, but moving up the ladder. This is everything from not only how well you do your job and how much care you take, but what are you populating, literally and figuratively, into that succession planning database, that career progression database, whatever your company might call it, but all, your internal resume, so to speak. Are you volunteering? Are you taking on new projects? Are you getting involved in extracurricular things, whether they're for the company or to interface with the outside world, volunteering, maybe partnerships or whatever it might be. So inside the organization, this is going to make your life a lot easier. And then it's kind of a combo one, but on behalf of. So what do I mean by this? Well, think about it. Maybe you're a marketer, maybe you're a salesperson, maybe you manage the affiliate relationships. Who knows? Maybe you're a technologist that goes and speaks at conferences, and maybe you're a Salesforce database administrator that's going to give a presentation at the Salesforce conference, which has a whole bunch of clients that are going to be listening, and they look at you and they think, wow, he's great, she's great, I really need to talk with him or her, and I might want to enlist their company to help us implement this solution. It could be any kind of thing that provides cachet to you. So maybe you're the salesperson. Sometimes titling becomes important. This is kind of like the one time I think titling and public branding and getting that, whether that's that picture and bio on the corporate website, or whether it's what you're putting out on your LinkedIn website or in your LinkedIn long form posts, or wherever you might be putting something that helps you create a digital footprint that gets you better known or gives you that cachet that might attract somebody so they would enlist your company, engage with your company, maybe use your company's services, maybe provide something to your company. Who knows? But those are some great reasons. And what I'd love to know, I'd like to engage you guys right away, because what I'd love to know from you in the chat is, do you feel like you have a branding issue? Maybe it's like, I know I need to do this, but I'm struggling to do it because I don't know what to put out there. I'm having trouble internally because I'm not sure about this issue. What is your, just some of you I know really well, some of you I don't know as well. What is your function, generally speaking, and then what is your biggest personal branding issue? Let me know what that is, and I would like to take a peek at the chat right now, because I want to try to get some of these in my head as I walk through kind of what I recommend that you do and think about, because I think it'll be really helpful. So jump in here, the almost 30 of you that we have, and Connie and Monica and Brian and Antonio and Pat, hey, you jumped in. Great to have you. Get in, David, Ed, all y'all, Brooke, Jeff, I'm doing great. Just, what are you? Real quick. Do you have a personal branding issue? Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. But I'm guessing I'm going to say a few things today that'll really help you. But I'd love to know what that is, and then I'll glance at the chat here in a minute. All right. Here's another thing I want you to keep in mind about. Here's a couple numbers. I was doing a little research, and I would believe these numbers, but here's another reason why I think it's important. So I talked about kind of the three big reasons. This number 70% and this number 43%. This number here is Career Builder did a survey not too long ago, I think it was last year, where they surveyed a whole bunch of companies, and they said, do you actually use social media and basically the entire platform to check up on prospective employees? That's the number, 7 out of 10. So it's becoming more and more popular. And sometimes when people don't have a digital footprint, that hurts them at all, right? So at a minimum, a LinkedIn profile, let's say. And then this number was a little surprising to me. This number, 43%, was the number of, or the percentage of companies that uses social media to check up on its employees. So you've been hired. And almost half, 1 out of 2 employers, is in some way, shape, or form looking at this stuff or paying attention to it or being influenced by it in what they think of you. So just keep those stats in mind. Now let's talk about, let me see, you guys, hey, issue, never gave it a thought. Antonio's an IT leader, not sure what my branding, okay, so we'll work some of that in. Ed's a consultant, customer service manager. I knew that because your story's fresh in my mind. Just better practices for communicating it effectively. Okay, these are some good ones. Monica, new to the program, HR business manager, visible to C-levels. Okay, I like this. Accounting admin. Oh, I love that. You guys gave me a good body to work with there. Good body to work with there. All right, I want to talk about. Let's just warm you up. You need this as a centerpiece for your brand. Now, first thing you got to think about, I know it may sound obvious, but who are you and where do you want to go? Where do you want to go? Now, you don't have to know that in 5 years exactly, I am going to be up. I'm talking about from a great analogy that I could give you with the who you are is, I know a lot of you have seen my elevator pitch video. I have a video out on YouTube about putting together your elevator pitch. I have, if you're in the boot camp, there is much more on that. But really, what are you and for whom do you do it and how will they benefit? And these kind of things are instrumental and just are the tenets upon which you want to build your brand and your reputation. So I'm a career coach, right, that helps people, a career and leadership coach that helps people grow in their careers. That's everything that I do is aimed at relaying that message to the world. You could be the best technologist in the world. You could be the best accountant. You could be the best Salesforce database administrator. You could be the best project manager. You could have project management accolades up the wazoo. I mean, you might have certifications, you might have speaking engagements, you might have webinars that you conduct, you might have things that were recorded well before I became a career coach. I was a recruiter, but as a recruiter, who was my target audience at that time? HR folks, recruiters, hiring officials, and so on. I would conduct lessons for SHRM, Society of Human Resource Management, IHR, the Institute for Human Resource Professionals, and they would record these and they would actually allow their HR people to watch them and take credit, like actually get credit for watching these webcasts that I would do that they recorded. So there's those kind of things. If you are in, I think Monica said she was in HR. If you start getting visibility to, what a lot of people think that they need to do, like Monica, for example, and I know there's a few other people here in HR, you think you got to go to the CEOs. Actually, what you need to do is you need to get more visibility to other HR people as well, because what do other HR people do? They go to their CEOs, right? It doesn't always have to be a direct route. Now, it could be, that's great, but you can think in different dimensions. So where you want to go is, who do I want to know about me, and what do I want them to know about me? Now, the what part we're gonna build here in the talk, but the who part, that's that headline, that's that elevator pitch, that's your internal focal point. It's those kind of things. And then where do you want to go? You need to start seeing, how is it that I can put my material in the right spots? The right spots could be your in corporate database. It could be the newsletter internally in your organization. It could be a network. We have all kinds of networking groups that people in those lines, the marketing, finance, engineering, and then there's subset, network engineering, and so on, where those people are circulating their message to those others. So it's important that you recognize that there needs to be thought in the universe that you want to be in front of. I think I want to, I don't want to harp on it too much, but I do think it's important that you really understand who it is that you want to attract. Now, some of that can be done proactively, networking, circulating, consistent posting of messages, commenting, and so on. We'll talk about that. But some of that other stuff can be a multi-step process. Like I said, HR to CEO, chief people person, or whoever. All right. So just keep that in mind. All right. Now, this one here, this next thing is, it could be a whole session in and of itself, but you've got to have a story. Okay. And I don't mean a story. I mean your story. Everybody's got one. It's unique, and it can be one of the most powerful things that connects you to others. And I mean it just like I said it. It connects you to others, other people. So when you think about your story, most people, they actually don't think about their story. But I think that your story, your life, whatever you've been through, and I have read many fascinating stories. I know for those of you that are in my boot camp that share your stories with me. And some of you, you've got very, very colorful, historic lives. You really do. And to me, no matter how many of you get in that program that share that story with me, and you're welcome to share this story with me if you're in this program, I can't get over how much you've been through. And then it becomes about how do you package that story and use it and share it appropriately with others to let them understand you, learn about you without you having to say something explicit. So what do I mean by all this? Well, you guys know that I spent a lot of time before I became a recruiter in IT. And, every great story, I think, always starts in a hole. No great story ever starts with, I started something and I was instantly great at it, right? No good story ever starts that way. Where do the great stories start? I lost millions. I was down on my luck. I was so broken. I was whatever, right? It starts in a low. So I want you to start thinking about this, right? You've gone through these transition points. And as I take myself through my own exercises and I think about pivotal moments in my life, I think about every single one of them started when I went in a hole. And many of you know that I was in IT for almost two decades, and then I decided I wanted to open up a recruitment firm. When I opened up the recruitment firm, as an example, so I was not an influencer, I was not a career coach, was not email marketing or doing any of the things that I do now. I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't like the company I was doing it. It was just a terrible mess. I was given a couple of choices that I did not really like by the CEO of the current company I was in, and I used that rough situation as a springboard into something that became very good. Now, couple things about this story, because I think I want to be able to give you some relatable points. I opened up a business and I needed to bring my services to the market, and the services that I wanted to bring to the market were recruitment services, but I didn't know how to recruit. I had literally never recruited a day in my life. I'd done a lot of things and I'd never recruited, but I opened up a recruitment firm. I had to have a story, right? So when I would make my calls to prospective employers, I would talk about my consulting background, the fact that I care so much about helping people and companies that I decided I'm chucking all that, I'm opening up a recruitment firm, and I know these functions, processes, what makes a good company tick, what the people need to look like, how to evaluate for it, and so on. They got this story of a practitioner who could come in and help them because I walked the mile in their shoes, right? The mile walk name and all that good stuff. That's the story they get, and they identify and can relate, and they look at me like, wow, and this is true. This is a passionate person who's really smart, who's ambitious and creative, and thinks about, right, what needs to be done. I created a methodology that I thought would resonate with people. That was part of the story. Things that I did. That's what the business people got. That was their story. But if you think about this in different terms, that is a portion of a story that's a lot longer in my life, and I feel like it's what makes me unique, because we all have these, right? This is what made me unique. You now had a recruitment firm owner who was going to help you. There were not really, I would challenge them to find somebody who had as much experience in doing these particular functions that they wanted to recruit for than somebody who had been doing them for almost 20 years, right? There's a pivotal moment. I was given a choice by the CEO of this company that I did not like working for. It was a low point. And then I have stages, right? IT, recruiter, career coach. But let's talk about the story from a different vantage point. Some of you might have read an email I sent to you on November 17th. I don't know if you were with me on November 17th, but I shared this story about how I was working for this company for about 10 months. I was running business development and product development. I was creating consulting solutions. We were selling them. We were actually selling them. I was doing my job, making the company money, and the CEO gave me two choices. And he says, you need to take a steep pay cut in one or a steeper pay cut in the other. And these are your choices. I didn't know where this was coming from. Turns out he was trying to shed some salaries because he was about to sell the company. I didn't know any of this. It was just a low point. I was basically given choices I didn't want. I didn't like them. I didn't want to do them. I didn't like the company as it was, and I didn't like him. So I thought about, well, how could I make something positive out of this? Now, at first, I was miffed, as anybody would be. But once I got out of his office, I looked for the opportunity, and I've told you guys this before. Your greatest opportunities lie in the sounds of other people's pain. So I knew as an insider that we were not making as much revenue each month as we could have because we didn't have consulting resources that companies were willing to pay for. So these large corporations like AT&T and other companies like them would happily give us lots and lots of money if we would have the right resources to come in and help them maintain and build their systems. So I made sure I understood what the impacts were. We were losing an opportunity on making $250,000 a month. I went back to him and I said, I don't want to take that pay cut. I don't want to take that pay cut. I don't want to do those jobs. I want to open up my own recruiting firm, and you could be my first client. And I will go and recruit the people that you need to hire because you're losing all this money, and you just pay me if you hire them. Right? Win, win, win to me. And that's how Mile Walk, the recruitment firm, was born. That's the story I share with you guys. Why? Because that's the kind of issues you face as an employee trying to grow. You find yourself in untenable situations. But I told you the story. But the story is what connects us, right? I have problems just like you do. I'm put in shitty situations just like you are, right? Now, how you react to them, you have choices. You have more choices than people will give you. You have infinitely many choices, and everything you do is a choice, right? These are the things. That's the story. That's a portion of the story, right? So you got to have one of these. So how do we do that? Well, you got to think about what's unique about you. Now, one thing I would love to share with you, and I hope you share this with me, you might not think you're unique, but I think you're unique. So there are a lot of other career coaches out there. There are a lot of other leadership coaches that are out there. I have a leadership coach, in fact. Now, he's very different than I am. You know, he spent a few years, did some consulting, and then in his 20s, he just became an online trainer. And a lot of his experience has been working with people, surveying people, doing a lot of research. That's awesome. I love that. He gives me ideas and ways of thinking about things that I might not think about. But as I come to you with my lessons, these are packaged from a completely different vantage point. I'm giving you leadership concepts from what I've observed in 30 years of working. That's going to be very different, but that's what makes me unique. You have these things about you. You have pivotal stages that you need to think about, and in these transitional points, new stories were born that make up your entire story, and you have stages to you. Now, you have to figure out, based on all of this, how you want to relay that. So in my case, when I opened up Mile Walk, I actually wrote the story about being in IT, but being passionate about helping people and so forth. So my story is, if you hire us, you're going to get a practitioner's viewpoint and so on and so forth. That was what they got. You get a completely different insight into the same events that occurred in my life, but you as a different audience get the story that's relatable to you. Okay, so you gotta think about these things, and you become very, very powerful when this occurs. When your story, whatever that story is connected to your mission. Okay, so in what I just shared with you, first part of the story, that major transition I went through in my life, well, that connected with my mission to help people and help companies through hiring the right people. My story here and my mission is to help you as individuals grow your individual careers, right? Specific to you, from whether it's a job searching, career development, self-help, high performance, leadership qualities, or whatever. This is how you got to tie it together. So when you think about who you are and where you're going, I want you to think about wherever you've been is great, but how do you use that story as a springboard and package it to what you want to do? Some of you are changing careers. Some of you have changed careers. Some of you have closed businesses and are now going into careers. What awesome and rich material is that to grab stories from, and what you learned and how that can be applied to where you're going. This is, you gotta think about this way, because it's what ultimately connects you to people. You can put that information wherever you think it's appropriate. And in the last few minutes, what I've ultimately said is, you can use your stories in discussions. Okay, it doesn't have to be in a digital footprint. Okay, your brand comes out of your mouth too, a lot, right? Everything I say to you, I have a brand to me, even though it doesn't say. He tells it like it is. He tells it from experience. He tells it from data, but he cares, and I know he cares, and I'm an adult, and he gives it to me straight, and that's why I like that guy. Not everybody says that, but I hope you guys say that, right? That's the way it happens. You like it because of the story, because you can relate to it. So it can be told. It can be put on your websites. It could be put on your LinkedIn profile. It could be put on your Facebook page. I don't really care where you put it. Figure out how to package it and what stories need to be packaged. One guy I absolutely love, and you know, I really need to study more of his stuff. I've really gotten only just like a cursory taste, because I got introduced to him through one of my coaches, is Bo Eason. B-O, his first name, Eason, E-A-S-O-N. He is a professional football player. He's the brother of Tony Eason, who's also a professional football player, for those of you who might know Tony. But Bo is, he like, that's his job. He teaches people how to tell their stories. And he's got a book out called There's No Plan B for Your A Game. I'm taking it on my vacation with me. And I can't wait to dive into it. But it might be something to check out. I have it in your workbook. It's in there, so I reference him, so you'll be able to find it. But I want to look at the chat here, because you know, you guys are coming in with some really good stuff. Lisa Arena, hey to you. See, I love this, Pat. That's great stuff. Leadership and moral intelligence. So how do you draw that out? Admin and real estate management, recent focus on office type properties. So I would say my established brand would be office, but interests go beyond that. Interesting. All right, I want to get to that in the when we go through the questions. All right, good stuff. All right, wait. All right, so now what's next? You got your story. You got to do this. I wrote the whole word out to challenge myself to make sure I could spell it correctly. You got to do some Recon. Okay, so what your brand, you know, you might think you know what your brand is, but your brand is really what somebody else thinks your brand is. Now, you could educate them on what you really want your brand to be, but everybody assembles a story of you in their head. Okay, so you've got to figure out what that is. So I think the Recon part is going to people that you that you like, that you trust, that you know will give it to you straight, that say, this is how I see you. This is, I see you as a volunteer. I see you as compassionate. I see you as always helping. I see you as empathetic. I see you as whatever. What is it how do you view me? Like, how does that come across? I ask Kara, believe you can ask her if you want, how did that sound? Did that sound like I was being a smartass? Or did that sound like I was, and she'll tell me because she'll give it to me straight. And I think I told you guys, I always watch what I say every show because I want to make sure that what's up here and in here is in sync in the way it comes out. And it also has to do with how well I know some of you, how I will interact with you. As you go to the people who know you well, what do you think my special gift is? What do you think of when you think of me? Like what resonates? What do you think others think? And try to get, a little bit of what do you think and what do you think I'm awesome at? Like, what do you think? So like, I would love to sit down with every single one of you for like 2 or 3 hours and do nothing but talk about like what you've done and what you want to do. And I guarantee you within that time, I would be able to siphon out exactly what your special gifts are. Now, you've probably got friends and loved ones, relatives, business colleagues who can tell you because you don't always see yourself the way others see you. So I would do a little recon. What does their version of you look like? And then you got to define your audience. Okay? So what do I mean by this? Well, we talked about, outside career progression, inside the company. We talked about on behalf of and those kind of things. Monica mentioned, she wanted to attract CEOs. I was mentioning earlier as part of my business, recruitment business, Mile Walk, I was trying to attract hirers, recruiters, HR folks, and so on. That's what I'm talking about. So your audience may change over time. So let me give you another example from my history. So I was a recruiter, and as a recruiter, my audience was people that we would try to recruit, but my real audience were the buyers, were the companies. So I would call them. I would call them directly. I would call them through people. That your brand can be built that way. You can tell your story, whatever that might be, right? So you could do that. And then what happened? Over years, many, many years, I had a very, very large literal and figurative database of people that were hirers and at one point active or passive job candidates. It was a very large database, right? Because I'd been doing it a long time. But then I decided I wanted to become a career coach and a trainer to individuals, which is very different. So when I talked with you earlier about who you are and where you're going, the longer the time frame, the better you'll do in building your brand. So what do I mean by that? Well, in July of 2015, as a just moseying along, doing great recruiter, bunch of people working at Mile Walk, Kara and I were happy and having fun and all that good stuff. And I said, no, my aspirations are I want to help more people. I can't do it in this current format. So my audience needs to be individuals who need help, but not necessarily individuals who I would recruit, right? And I can't start there. And then there are legalities. I can't just start sending emails to these people. There's all kinds of that stuff. So what do I want my brand to look like over time? So over the next handful of years, what can I do to try to build up a repository of collateral that would attract the kind of people that I want? So I think a lot of you know the story, for like 15, 16 months, I did nothing but give stuff away. And a lot of people found me. Now for you, if you think over a longer horizon, you can pace out the way that you build out your brand, you build out your collateral, which we'll get into in a minute. And the longer time horizon you have, the better it'll be. You do not need to be rushed. This does not need to happen overnight. My brand is not perfect. It is a work in progress. It will never be done. But what I have done is, at first it was anybody who needed help at any age and so on. And then what I noticed was who were the people that wanted to be helped the most. Okay, how's that for different, right? Not like what could I build and how many can I sell of it? Who do I think wants the most help and is willing to engage in it? Okay, well, that's very different. Okay, that's very different. I chose to focus on that. Now, you might be thinking, all right, well, this is what I want to do. But I think when you start coupling who you want to be with your story and your mission and the people who need your help, that's when it gets, that's when the perfect storm starts to hit. Okay, so I don't try to tailor all of my offerings to everybody from, college students to people that are nearing retiring age. There is a subsection of those people that get the lion's share of my effort, attention, and design of my products and solutions. But I didn't have to do that right away. I got into it, then I looked at it. But I knew that there was an audience. That audience started as people who wanted help. Then it was people who were willing to engage and really, there was a certain demographic, there was a certain type of person and all that good stuff. You will figure that out as you go, but you need to define who that audience is, and the longer the time horizon, the better. And this can change over time, just like mine changed. You might be an inside salesperson at the very lowest level in your company, and you're building a brand. Well, you know what? If you want to be the senior vice president of a company someday, of a company of whether it's your industry, your market, your solution, or whatever, why not start writing opinion pieces, how-tos, editorials, put that on your LinkedIn profile, start researching what it takes to implement large-scale solutions and so on, because over years that your digital footprint is going to build, right? There's hundreds and hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel. That did not happen overnight. Now, imagine if you don't have that kind of job where it has to be put out at that velocity, and you could put something out once a month. That's 12 a year. That's 60 over 5 years, and so on. And then you might discover, hey, there's something I'm really interested in doing. But start building from now, because in a short year, you'll have a lot of stuff out there. You will look very differently. You will have a completely new career changers that get active in building their new brand right away. You will be amazed at how much it looks like you are knowledgeable on that subject. It's just an example, but you get what I'm saying. Anybody can do this, but the longer the time horizon, the better. And then the other thing that you want to consider is the level of visibility. This gives you focus. So think about it. When I was a recruiter, my level of visibility was, oh, okay, hirers, recruiters, business owners, HR people in Chicago. I'm getting on a plane. There's enough people here that I can go, and try to sell my recruitment services to them. And then on the other side of the coin, job seekers in Chicago. Then it became national. Then I wanted to be a career coach. And then it was immediately international, because it's the internet, right? You could be in Sweden or Switzerland or Finland or Asia. It doesn't make any difference, right? You'd be listening to me. It might be in the middle of the night, but you know what I mean? So do you want to be, you want to focus on your company? You're that Salesforce database administrator. You want to work your organization. Why not work the Salesforce universe? Why not get, ingrained in with the Salesforce folks? Why not go to those conferences? Why not get familiar with people in your local meetups or nationally that might want to know your name, where it might do well for you or your company or whoever? You want to, I live in a town of 8,000 people. Okay. There are people that work the town. I see them every month on the Long Grove Living magazine, and my wife says, hey, why aren't we not on the cover? I said, we don't want to be on the cover. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, that's what I'm talking about. So you work your level of visibility, but design your brand, your digital footprint for that. Okay. And then this to me is really a great one. I really like this one. You got to think about your on and offline relationships. So what does that mean? Well, I just gave an example. You're the Salesforce database administrator. Why not follow everything Salesforce? Comment on everything Salesforce on your LinkedIn feed, on your Twitter feed, on your Facebook feed, whatever, Instagram feed. Why not get engaged at the conferences? Why not go meet people with similar interests? Why not target like the 10 Salesforce gurus? Why not target the 10 biggest Salesforce clients? Why not? Okay, so, you got tons of varieties. If you're in HR, I think Monica said, right, she's in HR, you got to be targeting people at SHRM. Do you want to get out? I guarantee you get out there, you start speaking, you put some reel together, like video reel, your CEOs will be seeing it. Okay, so like you've got to think about who do you want to target. So for me, I started to as I became a career coach, I decided that I wanted to, I followed a bunch of people. Then I found the guys I really liked. And, Michael Hyatt, for example, he was somebody that, and actually I found him when I was a recruiter and when I started writing books. I found Michael Hyatt the year before I wrote Interview Intervention. I discovered him. And then when I wrote the hiring prophecies, the head of the publishing company called me and he said, he was asking me about, they love the book and all this stuff. And he said, hey, do you really need to make sure your platform's in order and this and that. Have you ever heard of Michael Hyatt? I said, yeah, I kind of kicked around. He says, no, you need to get with him and go get this book and reach out to him. And I did, and all that good stuff. Well, before I knew it, I was, taking some training from him. I was connecting up with him. I started to promote his books. Like some of you, I don't know, maybe some of you helped me promote Interview Intervention version 2. Well, I would help him release some of his early books, the early releases of his books. He would send me an advanced copy. I would be on a team of people. I would be working with his affiliate directors and so on. So I got to meet them. They call me. They want to help me market the Mile Walk Academy from an affiliate standpoint and so on. So there's this daisy chain. Another one of my coaches got with his literary agent. Okay, so now I'm connected with somebody out of New York for my next book. You know what I mean? It's like all this stuff will put you, now you don't have to do this. Like I'm just saying, there is a universe of people that you want to be associating with, interacting with, commenting on. Again, maybe I'm in that group. Maybe there's others in this group that are in that group. Maybe it's how you act on LinkedIn. Maybe it's how active you become. Maybe it's what interests you follow. Everything that you do, but make sure that you are figuring out what you want that online and offline relationship to look like. And here again, going to networking meetings, actual networking group meetings, like the offline stuff, and working your networking that way. Okay, very, very important. The other thing that I would say on the online stuff is be active and watch what you post. Like, because what you say matters. People will see it. It's part of your brand. So, and I'm not saying you got to live on social media. If you would like to just pick LinkedIn and want to be a little more active on LinkedIn, you don't really want to deal with Twitter or Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or Snapchat or whatever, that's fine. But I'm just talking about, you will be amazed at if you are consistent, and consistent doesn't need to be hours a day, right? It could be 10 minutes a day. But if you're consistent and so on, it will help. It will help. All right, let's talk about, I want to get into the material, and it's everybody needs collateral. I would like to know, I'm going to tell you what, I want to talk about this, the kinds of things that you can put out there, but I want to get to the chat here again. There are things that you can put out in the public domain. Do you feel like you have those? So you comment on this however you want. I would be willing to bet this whole house that 90% of you that are here undervalue what you know. Can I get a show of hands? Do you know how? Okay, wait. If you're not sure if you undervalue it, do you find yourself doing things like, well, yeah, everybody knows that, right? Well, that's so easy. That's so simple, right? So if you find yourself saying that or thinking that, you're undervaluing what you know. Everybody knows you should go and try to verify somebody's email address and send an email directly to them. Everybody should know that, right? Everybody should know that, right? Some of you are on my job. Everybody should know that you should not be sticking your resume into an applicant tracking system, right? Like these kinds of things. So are the yeses you under yourself? I know you do. I do it. You know who helps me not undervalue it? You and Kara. You do. Because I have to say to myself every single day, what's it like not to know what I know? Right? Are you a project manager and are like a whiz at putting project plans together? Can you not write a white paper on the 10 things that you ought to do to put together a good plan? Can you not put a 3-pager together with pretty colors and little circles and that kind of stuff? Do you have any idea how valuable that would be? Do you have any idea how valuable that would be if, from the outside standpoint, this one here, right? Somebody sees you and sees that you do that, and somebody's looking for a project manager, I guarantee you, you're going to get called, right? Or just what about a young college graduate that is coming out of school and wants to learn about that? And, you know, maybe you can mentor that person. So this is something that it's going to be part of the challenge that we're going to get to. But I want you to think about all the things that you know. Okay, you're like me, so I'm 53, right? I've been doing this a long time. I got a lot of experience with a lot of stuff, with a lot of companies, with a lot of people. You've seen a lot of things. And that didn't happen overnight. And the things that I take for granted are not second nature to most people, right? They're second nature to me. Okay, I'm sure there are things that are second nature to you, and you need to kind of step back and decompose that. So what are we talking about here? What are we talking about when I say create material? I wrote a list. I got a whole list of 10 things that you can start creating as a thought leader. I'm just going to mention a few, but they're in the workbook. But right, I just got done mentioning you could put together a white paper. You can put together. Are you a salesperson? And could you put on your profile? This is the standard 30, 60, 90-day plan, 90-day plan broken up into by month for whenever a new salesperson starts with your company. Do you have any idea how many requests I get a day as a career coach from salespeople that say, Andy, you have a 30, 60, 90-day template, right? And whether yours is perfect or not, it's like standard, right? It's got little widgets in it and you can pull them in and out or whatever. But if I'm a COO or senior vice president of sales and I'm looking to add a salesperson to my team and I see you have that on your LinkedIn profile, that's valuable. I would probably call you up just for that reason alone. So thought you could do that in a LinkedIn. You could do that in a LinkedIn post, right? And then attach that to your profile. That's thought leadership, right? You can write white papers. You could do, you could speak. You could put video clips. You could put a podcast up. You can put an e-zine article. You can put a LinkedIn article. There's a whole host of these things that you can do, okay? And I know you got them. I know there's things you've written in your lifetime that can be generalized and stamped up on your LinkedIn profile. And don't you think for one second, I know a bunch of you are going to say, well, this is proprietary and this and that. It isn't. That's marketing and advertising for you. Do you know what I think about all of my stuff? This booklet that I'm going to give you, okay, all the job search stuff I have, all the leadership stuff I have, all the videos I put out. Do you know what I think when somebody says, well, they're just going to steal it? And other trainers, I know they buy my stuff. I know they take my stuff. And here's what I genuinely think. They're not me. You cannot possibly know how to work that thing, right? The invisible work that goes into the thought of all the stuff that is created is not the same in somebody else's hands. Okay, it's the same thing for you, right? You worked those projects, which is why you know that plan works. You sold all those products, which is why you know that's what it takes to jumpstart the first 3 months. You did all that, right? What's my daily line, right? The forger never sees the invisible work that makes the masterpiece, right? Don't worry about it. That's your advertisement stuff, okay? Don't worry if somebody takes it. Who cares? All right. And if anything, it's the hugest compliment ever. So think about that. I think that the biggest message I wanna say on that is the most important thing with the collateral. The most important thing for me as a coach is to make sure that there is a steady stream of stuff for you. It's not all perfect. It's not all right. If I had more time, I'd make it more perfect. But what's better than perfect? Consistent, right? What do you get every Tuesday at 6:30? Every Tuesday, I never miss unless the email's mucking with me. But the email was set to go out, right? What do you get? Same for you. Maybe it's once a month. Maybe it's a huge infusion up front, and then maybe it's once a month. Well, true story. When I was a recruiter, I thought it was important to stay in front of people, and we started to recruit. Now, mind you, in 2005, it wasn't like I had a huge database of people. So I said to Kara, I think it would be really nice. I got a lot to say about this subject matter, about hiring, and I think we should put a quarterly newsletter together and make one article on hiring and one article on job seeking or something like that. So once a quarter, I sent an email out, okay? Quarterly newsletter, Mile Walk Quarterly Newsletter Q1, Mile Walk Quarterly Newsletter Q2. And what would happen is at that time, I would inevitably get hundreds of emails back that say, hey, you know what? We're about to hire somebody. I need to call you. Or, hey, I'm thinking about leaving my job. I think I need to call you, right? Just that friendly little tap on the shoulder. Now, there was no LinkedIn. Okay, there was no LinkedIn long form. There was no LinkedIn post. I was like, LinkedIn was just a connection thing. It was barely anything. But you could do this stuff, and you have a built-in database already, all your connections, right? So if you're just doing this on a consistent basis, that's what matters, just being in front of people. And don't give me that crap. I know you're gonna say this, I don't have time. It's not about having time. You have plenty of time. You're choosing not to do that, or you're choosing to watch TV, or you're choosing to binge watch the Netflix or whatever, right? I got up this morning at 4:30 so that I could work out, go to the doctor, run after that, get back, do all this stuff for you, do the show, umpteen things, right? Because you gotta make accommodations for what you want to do. So you can do it. You can find the time. You can. You just might need to be a little bit more creative. And here again, writing an article a month, that doesn't take a lot, right? And it's Saturday afternoon, cup of coffee, open up the laptop, go to the coffee shop if you need to, right? You can do this. You can find the time. I challenge you to find it. That's the tough love, okay? All right, now, you got to display your credits. Okay, so some of this stuff is going to be displayed. And now for a lot of you, you're going to leverage LinkedIn, but you could use anything. You could use a personal website, but you want to display your credits. What are we talking about here? The publications, the certifications, any clips you have, any articles you wrote, any white papers you want to attach, any of that stuff. It's okay to schooling, degrees, certificates, alumni associations, whatever it is. You got to display them. Got to work the inside of the company. Okay, so now early on we talked about this being for kind of going up the chain, but working the inside of the company, I'm not talking about schmoozing, right? No one likes a schmoozer, but could you be genuinely and sincerely engaged in helping out other teams, volunteering, running the food drive once a quarter, doing the whatever, right? Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Boss Man, where are my deltas? What do I need to work on, right? I'm going to go, you know what? Hey, tell you what, if I go and train up myself on that thing, would you spend a little time with me once a month and whatever, give me some feedback, Yeah, I don't know. I one time was a team leader on a large implementation for software for an oil company. And I was a team leader, and I was a business team leader, and there was a technical team leader. And then we had a manager. It was the manager's job to put together this high-level work plan for this multi-million-dollar job. It was her job. I was fairly confident that I could do it. So I went to my boss and I said, tell you what, can you give me the estimated amount? Like, I need the template. And he's, oh, we need, I said, well, you know what? I want to learn, because this is my next role. So I want to level up. So I just took it, and I basically was able to do my side of the equation. I got with the tech guy. I bought him dinner, and I said, I need you to bring the binders with you, and I need you to walk me through this kind of stuff. How would you, do this and that? And basically I did his side. And so then I gave it to my boss, and I said, here, I know Karen's going to, give this to you, but I want you to know I took a shot. I'd love any feedback on this, because, it was kind of really good practice for me. And I had live ammunition here. I had live targets to shoot at too. So he took it. He's like, my God, this is perfect. This is great. So it's stuff like that. You gotta take the extra, you gotta make the extra effort. Okay. Oh yeah, this, I'm looking at a note I put in your booklet. I used to run a large team in one of my corporations, and every 6 months we would go through these round of promotions and salary increases, promotions, and bonuses and things like that. And the staff would come to me, and they would always say, Andy, is it who you know or what you know? And I would always say to them, it's not who you know, and it's not what you know. It's who knows what you know, right? If you're a real estate agent and you're my friend and you just switched into a real estate agent profession, and I don't know you did that, then I don't call you when I got to sell my house, kind of thing. If you're inside the organization or outside the organization, you've got to make sure that the right people know you're there and what you got and the goods you're going to bring, and that you are willing to do certain things, right? You're willing to get involved. I'm willing to get active, and those kind of things. So just keep that in mind. And then, the last couple of things before we get to the challenge, I know this is kind of a long one. Tidy up the little details. So I wasn't really good at this when I became a career coach, but I'm talking about things like get yourself a good LinkedIn shot. It just needs to be clean. You don't need to spend $500 on a headshot. The banner at the top, have it consistent, right? Have it consistent. Have a little thing about your own, whether it's LinkedIn profile, website. If you're going to put things up there like white papers and documents, have your own little brand. Okay, you all are your own company, right? What's that expression? We're all a company of one, right? It's true. It's true. So I want you to just across things where it matters to you. I don't really care if your Instagram is private and no one sees it. Okay, that's fine. But in LinkedIn, you want to be found. You want to have some credibility there. You want to look orderly and organized. So that's my last point. And then here's what I want to do. I got some great thought provokers in there for you. And I want you to go through that. And then I got a challenge here for you. Here's the challenge. Don't worry, it's not terrible. All right, what's your centerpiece going to be? Who are you? Where are you going? Okay, I got more color in the booklet. What is your centerpiece going to be? For me, a career coach, right? And career, in my terminology, what I knew in 2015 that I wanted to teach leadership stuff. I didn't want to teach job searching, but I chose job searching first because I felt like that was a bigger source of people's pain. It's an acute problem that they need fixed, and they're miserable, most people anyway, until it gets fixed and until they have a job they love, okay? And if I can help them with that first, that is a bigger problem, and then I can go to their developmental stuff second, which is what happened. But I knew this 5 years ago. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Where are you going? Have some forethought. Get your elevator pitch and all that good stuff. Then I want you to take stock. So those things that I said that you can do, those plans, those white papers, those whatever. Maybe you've already written these for work, right? Take them out. Scrub the names off, right? Get that stuff in order. And then the third week, assemble your team. Start identifying the people. Put names down to people you don't know that you want to know. Okay? I mean it. This is a big deal. right? I didn't know I was going to be promoting Michael Hyatt's books, right? So that's what you need to do. Who do you want on your team? Hopefully I'm on your team, okay? Tap into me. Come to meet me at Clearwater on Friday, right, for the meetup. All right, and then the last thing, polish your pages. So kind of tidy up, your LinkedIn, any of your social pages that you make visible, any internal corporate stuff that you do, you might want to clean that up as well. But it's all outlined in there. You got a whole page right up on the challenge. So I hope you like that. I know that was a little longer than I normally go. All right. We're back. I'm here. I've been with you. Love chatting with you. I wish I could just come to my own shows every week. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I've got I did something for the very first time. I've never done this, where I was writing note cards during the session. I got my marker out. I got my note cards. This is what you guys were chatting up in the chat. I love these. I did not pre-can these. I took these from you guys, and I wanna run through them. And I think we're okay. Everybody should be watching me again. And I just want to do a couple things here really quick. Okay, so Kara and Stacy, please, for me, can you put the links in to the dollar trial? Everybody, I hope I got plenty of time for Q&A, and we got a whole bunch of points that you guys raised that I'm going to address about some of the issues you're having. Phenomenal stuff. I think I peeled out like 10 of them. So, and I know they're gonna hit the wide audience here. But just really quick, this is gonna be really quick because it's $1, people. It's $1. You're going to be able to join my leadership coaching program. I've been sending you some what we call and what I call when I write them for you value emails where I'm teaching you stuff and I'm sharing stuff with you like my habits and my routines and all that good stuff. It ends today where I'm giving you a 7-day pass into my leadership program. Now, here's what it looks like, and here's what you get, and that's it. And I just want to run through it really quickly. I know a lot of you know me from my job searching curriculum, and I have a job search boot camp. That's about job searching. That helps you find the job that you love. It helps you with a lot of stuff, and it helps you with a lot of life stuff, but it's basically a job searching program. This leadership curriculum I have is about elevating your game. It's about self-help, high performance, career development. So it's a monthly subscription. And normally it's $49, which you can certainly get in right now and access everything. If you want to try it for 7 days for $1, you're going to get some really great stuff. But this is what the program looks like. And you can go, this is the full program, but we're going to put the dollar trial link in your page, and I'm going to show you what you get. There's a lot of people going through this. They have been having a great time. There's a leadership monthly get-together, okay? You just witnessed one of the get-togethers that was from last year. And so we're having a ton of fun. We do them every month. We do them about every 4 weeks. You get that kind of content in your program. There's a library. And if you join, even on the monthly basis, you get access to my Career Accelerator program. I'm not going to go into it. It's a $400 course. It is a wonderful, wonderful program related to elevating your career. And it's really, really nice. Now, when you join, we take you through an orientation week. We talk about building confidence. We talk more in depth about mastering your focus, building great habits. These are the video coaching sessions that were much more in depth than those emails I was sending you this week, but it's really a great program. And then one other thing I want to call your attention to, there's some goal setting stuff. There's some additional career progression stuff. But if you really enjoyed the personal branding session that we just did, this power of your personal story will be a mega hit with you. It's a bonus that is also inside the program. Like I said, you can get in for a month at $49, or you can get in for a year at $297, which is half price. So this would be $600 for a year. This is $300 for a year. I do toss in the goal setting masterclass. If you are a boot camper, if you are in my job search boot camp, please email us at support, because you get a preferred rate on the program if you want to go in by the month. And then if you're wondering what this thing looks like inside, the fundamentals week and the concepts and the focus and the building habits, this is an orientation week that we facilitate with you. If you try the dollar trial, you're going to get a couple of these. You're going to get access to the focus discussion and the habit building discussion. We recently did thriving during a difficult time. That was last month. And then you can see the kind of archives, because I want you to understand the topics that we talk about. Designing an essential life. This is not being a minimalist, but it's how do you get things down to what you care about? How do you focus on that? How do you stay on track? Effective communication, some great planning and organizational stuff. Working remotely, that's in the dollar trial. How do you become a high performer? I give you all my techniques about my energy, more communication stuff on listening. And then what you just saw was this building your personal brand. So if you are already in the leadership program, you have the workbook, the access to that video replay of what we just went through today. It's really great. This Power Your Personal Story is very, very powerful. It teaches you how to use the stories of your life to connect with people. This is part of your brand. It's a big part of your brand. And it's really, really a great program. So even if you get in on the monthly basis, you get access to that. And then, like I mentioned, each month, in case you missed it, I give you a workbook like this. This is the giveaway for today, but it's broken down. You get a recap of all the things that I talked about. This will reinforce what it was that you went through today. It's really a lot of fun. And then there are the thought provokers. You might have noticed me mention those at the end. This is what helps you do the reflection and get yourself in order so that you can actually then do the challenge and work it. So this would facilitate you actually being able to build your brand. So it's really a ton of fun. And I hope you join in. This is it. Today, this is the last day. Dollar trial. Otherwise, you can get in and try it for a month. You can cancel anytime. It's the same kind of thing for the annual subscription. You can, you pay for the year in advance, but you can cancel that at any time, or you can cancel any monthly if you're in the monthly program as well. It's just like Netflix. You get the assets as long as you are in the program. It's really, really a lot of fun. Now, I do want to talk about some things that you guys brought up. So Kara and Stacy could drop those in the links. Make sure we get those in. You might see them come in a few times because we want to do them for the people on the Facebook group as well. But all that stuff's great. I want to make a couple points about what we talked about today, and because I saw a lot of you mentioning this. But did you see the part about where I mentioned that in July of 2015, I decided that I wanted to be a trainer in this capacity, but I gave myself a long window. So I started creating value, and I started putting it out on the internets, right? On the social media sites. That's all we did. Okay, we just put them on social media. I didn't pay for advertising or anything like that. And people would grab them, and then they would get on our email list, and I would send them a weekly digest. And I did that for 15 or 16 months. And then I started selling products. Okay? So what I want you to notice about that is you don't have to wait 15 or 16 months to start selling products. When's the best time to plant the tree? 20 years ago. When's the next best time? Now, today. Right? Plant the seeds. And if you are doesn't matter if you're not thinking about changing jobs. Doesn't matter if you're not thinking about changing careers. If you start putting stuff out on social media, we'll get real specific about what I would recommend, right? I talked about that LinkedIn long form stuff. If you are considering a job change, but you're not in a hurry, I would start getting some long form stuff out. I'll talk specifically about what I would suggest because you had some issues related to, now I'm not sure what to put out there. right? So think about that. You got to give yourself time because this stuff adds up over time. So I wanted you to realize that. And the other thing that I want you guys to know, some of you were mentioning, and I want to pull it up to see what the quote was today. Some of you were mentioning, well, I don't really have anything to put out there. Well, it's with you all the time. It's around you every day, and everything you've ever done has the potential of being applicable for someone. What's standing in your way is you don't think that what you know is valuable because it's second nature to you. It's not second nature to everyone else, nor something you did 10 years. The quote, today's lines, for those of you that are following me on Instagram and these social sites, this line on, there are time zones you live in and ones you stand in, and for very few, they're the same. I wrote that in 2010 when my girlfriend and I broke up. Okay, 10 years ago, I wrote something that a lot of you just saw for the first time today. Okay? There are project plans I put together as a business owner, as a project manager, as a whatever, that make their way into things that help me build my brand. Every single thing this book, I wrote a speech in 2013. Speech was just sitting there, wasn't doing anything. Made a book. Bunch of people buy it, right? So, and even if nobody bought it, this is still part of my brand. I wrote a speech. I wrote a quote. Those quotes, I wasn't posting them in 2010. I was recruiting. I put those on my personal Facebook page. I just wrote the line. There was no quote cards. There was no memes. Right? And my friends just benefited. And then I thought, I probably ought to go back on my Facebook page and start putting these in a Word document. That's what I did. Right? So it's all around you. What we're not doing, what we tend not to do is pay attention to everything that's around us. One, we're either too busy and we're not really paying attention to what we're doing. Number two, we don't see the value because we don't see the value to us. I know what that line is. I know that means stay present, right? But isn't it great that I could give it to you as a reminder to stay present? Right. The reason that you don't think there's value in what you put out is because you're not thinking of the other person. You need to think about them, not you. That's how you immediately turn what you know into value. It's instant. If you're following me on Instagram, every day I've been putting out a video. Today's video took me 3 minutes and 40 seconds to shoot. I then took the phone, hit upload, hit plus, upload, and I wrote 2 sentences and ... and some hashtags. And that was it. Now, you don't need to do that because there are other things that you can do. But my point is, can't I remind somebody that this is probably something I can illuminate for them that they're not thinking about? Right? What was the one I did the other day? I have a notepad. It's my shrapnel list. It's always with me. It sits there. If a thought goes through my head that is unrelated to something I'm doing at the moment, I write it down. Forget it. Now the brain is back focused, and that's it. Right? Simple trick. Why wouldn't everybody think to do that? No one thinks to do that kind of thing, right? Or rarely. So you got to think about that. All right, so here's what I did. I wrote some of the things that you guys, I went through the chat. You saw me in there chatting with you. So unfortunately, I wasn't playing with the dogs who wanted to play, but I said Daddy was on Showtime, so I needed to pay attention. All right, here's one. No confidence, and I don't see the value. All right, so the first thing is there's no reason for you not to be confident because I'm reassuring you that what you know has value. And it's not for you to judge yourself, and it's not for anybody else to judge you. It's for you to put it out into the world, and whoever wants it will benefit from it. You have to scoot it along, right? So imagine if you could, I want to combine this with you don't see the value, you don't have confidence, you don't see the value, and, oh, Andy, I don't have anything to put out there. All right, so let's take these together, right? You're a project manager. What'd you do this week? Did you have a meeting on risk management? There's a spreadsheet that can be put together. That's a template that can be put out, that your beliefs about risk management and the 8 things that you need to capture in order to manage risks. There's a concept about what a good steering committee agenda ought to be, what a risk management agenda ought to be, how to interact with your staff. Every single thing that you do has value. You do it every day. It's constantly around you. Could you go through one single day for me, like tomorrow, and write down everything that you do? Had a phone call. What'd you talk about? Did you help them with anything? Write it down. What was the agenda? That in and of itself could be a thing, right? Think about it. It's around you every single minute of every single day. You don't need to look at social media. You just walk through life. Write it down. All of a sudden, you'll have 100 things within the course of 1 week. Okay? You use it every day. You just don't think about its value to somebody else. Why am I so hung up on value to somebody else? Because your brand is created based on the value you contribute to other people. Okay? They determine what they think about you. You put out what you want to put out so that other people will benefit. That's it. Now, you might benefit because it attracted somebody to you that offered you a sale, offered you a job, offered you whatever. It's around you every day. You need to look for its applicability. Who would this help? Okay? And how could you distribute it? Now, somebody said, I can't remember, I wish I had all the names. I mean, there were a number of you that were saying these things. I don't know how to sell myself. Branding isn't about selling yourself. Branding is about you creating value and aligning it to what you want to be known for. Okay? You don't, 15 months, 16 months, I did nothing but give resume templates away, cover letter templates away, variations of cover letter templates, thank you templates. I was just helping people with their job searching. And I was learning the mechanics of being an influencer, and I was getting connected with people, right? You don't need to worry about selling yourself. Don't think about building your brand as selling yourself. That's the wrong goal. Think about building your brand as servicing others. And all the pressure of this and all the crap in your head about this will go away. It will evaporate instantly when you think about them. Okay? It really will. Do not worry about selling yourself. Oh, I love this one. There were a number of you. You said this in varying forms. I don't know how to be succinct. I don't want you to be succinct. I don't want you to jam your brand into one sentence. Do not confuse my elevator pitch, how to describe yourself in one sentence, with building your personal brand. Okay? That is a part of it. And I saw somebody else out there, dang, I wish, I know, I was her, I can't remember her name, but she was talking about, I'm a analyst or project manager and a business analyst, but I'm a scrum master and this and that. Okay, awesome. You could write an array of articles that speak to each one of those things. Remember, you all have what I didn't have. You have LinkedIn long form. That is your personal, if you do not want to put up a webpage, that is your personal repository of stuff that can be evaluated, investigated, distributed, and so on. That anybody can see forever. They just click, boom, articles, go, and there is your grid. Okay? You don't need to make it succinct. Don't try to make it succinct. The longer, the better. Meaning, the more often, the better. I am not sure how to differentiate myself. I got news for you. You're all individuals. You are. Except for the career coaches that copy me. Right? Like, you're all different. And guess what? Guess what? If you got 2 people out there that know the exact same things, who've had the exact same upbringing, who've worked for the exact same companies, who know the exact same people, and one of those people bothers to take the time once a week, twice a month, once a month, whatever, to write an article and put it on their LinkedIn page and share it with their community and get engaged with others in those groups and other LinkedIn groups and other associations and other meetup groups and whatever, you are not the same. Because number one, you're doing it and you're consistent and you're visible. And number two, right, you will have stories from only your life and your interpretation of them. Okay? And if you, I know this is a video that's, it's not much watched on my YouTube channel, and I can't remember the title of it. I think it had to do with like 3 easy ways to generate ideas. But basically, we all have our own interpretation of stuff, and we all have our own value that we can contribute to stuff. And if you are looking at something, take one of my quote cards. Take any quote card, go to my page, pick a quote card. That's the quote I wrote, okay? Now, you might say, yeah, I know that concept. I get what he's saying. Okay? Then say, yes, I agree. Yes, and what can you add? Yes, and. Maybe you agree with a portion of it, but you have a different interpretation. Yes, but. Right? That's the second variation. That makes it yours. What if you disagree? No, Andy, I just don't believe that. Okay? Why not? Right? That kind of stuff. Every single thing you see, single thing you hear, everything you watch, everything you read, every conversation you have, yes and, yes but, or no. Right? That's what I mean. All of it instantaneously makes it unique to you. But I will tell you that when I decided I wanted to be a career coach, I was not the first one to the game, surprisingly, right? There was a ton of career coaches, a whole bunch of people out there on YouTube. Why would I join? Why would I join the party and try? There's nobody that I can find that's out there, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, that is going to give you the level of range that I could speak to you on a number of subjects that have everything to do with your career, running your businesses, selling, marketing, managing, any of that stuff. That the level of depth that I can coach you on. Okay? That's one. Then the depth, that's another dimension. But the thing that makes me crush it is not that. It's the dedication. I'm here every single week. And it's not, sometimes we do Q&A, sometimes we do these events, right? Some days we do them every day of the week. When you start putting all of that in there and then your interpretation of everything that you do, that's what makes you great. Okay? It isn't that somebody else also has that experience or knows how to write a resume. Okay? It isn't that. So you got to remember that. You are all unique. You can choose to be consistent or not. You can choose to be visible or not. But if you want to build a brand, part of what is available to you that will make it so easy for you is there. Take advantage of it. Okay? So you can be different. Now, this one, I got a video for this one. But I saw some people saying, well, somebody said I've got 50-50 experience in this, experience in that, but I want to go over to that, or I want to do half of that, or I want to do something new. Well, I have a video out there on how career changers, what they can do to build their new brand. Now, if you started today and you decided I want to change careers and I want to become an accountant and I don't want to be a project manager anymore, start writing articles about accounting. Start going into the accounting groups and commenting. Start following all the famous accountants in the world. I don't know. Start learning the principles. But you could start writing opinion pieces. You can write lighthearted articles. You can write simple how-tos. You can write the 10 best accounting books you ever read. Anything that you can think of that puts your spin on the subject is valuable to you. And what you need to remember is when you write an article or you do something like that, you're a project manager and you're going to write how to manage risk in large-scale system integration or information technology projects. Most people will not read the entire article, and that's okay. the fact that you wrote something is valuable. If a recruiter hits your page, checks out your profile, and sees that, the recruiter's not going to read that, okay? But the recruiter's going to see that you wrote that. That's your brand. That helps. So you don't need to be worried about, well, is this super knowledgeable? But you have to put it in circulation too, right? You got to share it with your community. You got to get in with others in whatever field you want to move to. Start commenting on their stuff. Part of building your brand is not just putting it out into the world. It's contributing to those areas as well. That's equally as important as being part of the conversation and getting engaged with those people. Go to the meetups, even if they're virtual now or whatever. Okay, so move it forward. And then I saw one out there about inside my own organization. All the same stuff applies, and I would be looking for ways to build relationships with people that you just want to know, build relationships with people whose departments you want to get into. Many organizations will have a knowledge base or a succession planning database, okay? Knowledge base where they have a repository of best practices, protocols, methods of whatever. Start contributing to that. If there are ways that you could bring outside insight into your organization. Hey, what's wrong with sharing articles and videos and your take on things that are related to your field? What if you just went to YouTube, watched a bunch of TED Talks on whatever, packaged them up, and then, once every other week, you say, hey, you know what? This is a great concept. This is something we should think about. Here's my interpretation of this. Get them some dialogue going. Anything goes. All of that is part of building your brand. It has never been easier in the world to build a brand about yourself, right? So you just gotta make the time to do it, and you don't need to engage. I saw this one. What if I don't engage in social? You gotta get on LinkedIn at least. I mentioned that in the talk. But you got to be able to get on LinkedIn. You got to at least get that out there. You got to put an article out. You got to package up your page, right? Clean up the other stuff or shut it off. I always get a little weirded out when I can't find people on social media, to be honest with you, but that's me. But I understand if you don't want to be on it. I tend to spend no time on my personal Facebook page. I spend some time on my public Facebook page. I spend, time we're shooting here live on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. And I also spend a lot of time on Instagram. I mean, I really hope you follow me. It's just my favorite platform because it's upbeat. It's generally very positive. Yes, I understand there are a lot of very pretty men and women out there that are a lot of pictures of their bodies, but my page is about value. It's as much as I'd love to take pictures of me in my swimsuit, I won't. But, you're going to get the selfie videos. You're going to get the clip out videos. You're going to get the quote cards. You're going to get some pictures of the dogs with lessons in them and, those kind of things. But contribute. There are other people like me in your field, in your space. Follow the speakers. Follow the book, the authors who write books. Okay, the people that are that dedicated that they're willing to put a book together for you. Follow those people, follow their YouTube channels, get engaged with them. You will be amazed at what happens when you become part of the conversations, right? I saw even just in here, maybe it's kind of a loose, example, but I saw people getting connected on LinkedIn while I was going through looking for all of these things. People were getting connected with each other just like that, just that fast. And that's part of your brand and who you pal around with online and offline and what you say and what you do and all that good stuff. So those were some really, really great, and I think there were a lot more, but I want to get to some of your questions. I want to spend about another half hour and, kind of anything goes. I do, Kara is telling me, oh man, so hold on. I got a great giveaway, Beth Metro. All right, Beth, I know you're a job search boot camper, but now I would like to welcome you to my leadership program with a free annual pass. It's $600 if you pay on the month. It's $297 if you pay all at once. It's yours for free for a whole year. You're in the leadership program. because she got the reason exactly what I was looking for about why we tend to undervalue ourselves. It's because we forget what it's like not to know what we know. And all those comments about I don't have confidence, I don't see the value, I don't whatever, that's because you live with yourself every day, right? It's second nature to you. So that's the reason. So Beth, Metro, welcome to the leadership program. I'll see you next Friday at the session on dealing with difficult people. Because I don't know if you've ever encountered one of those, but they're out there, believe you me. So I hope you, Beth, Metro, enjoy that. Congratulations on winning the contest. And let me see what else we got. Don't forget about the workbook. It will be emailed after the session. I'm sure a bunch of you in the chat are like, where's the damn workbook he just showed me twice? If you're registered, so register now if you're not registered, because after the thing, Kara's going to go through our email list and she's going to say, okay, who was registered for the system? She's going to send you an email. Okay? And then Beth Metro, great to have you, my dear. And let's see. Wait, there was one other topic for next week leadership. Yes, dealing with difficult people. And we got some questions. And Kara and Stacy packaged these up for me because that chat was awesome. If you're loving this, click the thumbs up button. If you're loving it, share it. I am going to let this linger on the YouTube channel here for a little while. The other thing, if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please subscribe. It hurts me when you don't get my weekly videos and come to my live shows. It really does. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Enough begging. I'm not above begging, by the way. All right. Gene Rebel, 20-year VP, Biz Dev, Director, Market, Client Agency. I'm assuming you mean, VP of Business Development and Marketing. Client and agency, meaning I'm assuming the house and the agency. Recently consulted 2 startups, MedTech and caregiver platform, doing everything at high level. How do I smile? I feel like I am now too much to all people. Oh, okay. So I'm glad you said that. We have a video out there, and Stacy, I believe this is on the Instagram platform, about how to get, Stacy, the one I'm thinking of is how to get the employers to notice the early experience on your resume. Pop that in the YouTube chat. It's on YouTube. Pop it in the YouTube chat. Gene, and anybody who is having trouble with bringing people to focus. And I'm going to go back to this one. Somebody who mentioned, this is also for the gentleman who said my experience is not aligned to where I want to go. So whether you don't have the right experience, or whether you have some of the experience, or whether you're multifaceted like Gene is, marketing yourself is about highlighting the things that you want people to see and know about you. I don't care what you did for 20, it doesn't matter to me what you did for 20 years. Pick the stuff that you want to make a major deal out of, and you bring that forward. So you bring it forward in your resume, you bring it forward in your LinkedIn profile, you highlight those things. And from a personal branding standpoint, if you want to write about agency, whatever, then just write about that. The best thing an agency can do for its client. The best thing a marketing VP in an agency can do for its company. You need to jam on the stuff that markets you in the direction you want to go. So here again, Andy LaCivita School of Resume Writing. If you think about your career profile and your career highlights, all that stuff in the top half of the first page should really accentuate what you want them to see. If it's the agency stuff, you talk about, agency and client experience. You talk about all your agency years of experience, right? If you want to go the other way, you talk the other way. You want to go BD or just marketing or both, then either way. But the point is, you need to highlight and surface and expose the things you want them to see. Right? Wherever our attention goes, our energy flows. It's the same thing when somebody is looking at your resume. and you building your brand. Soham. Hi, Andy from San Diego. I work as a senior product manager targeting director level positions. How should I list my title in the career profile section? Experienced product manager. Okay, I love that. Couple things though. First thing is so generally speaking, when you are changing jobs, it's not a great idea to shoot a rung up unless the role, you have the experience to do that role, meaning you might be a manager in a larger company and you're shooting for a director level in a smaller company. That's cool, okay? Because the recruiter's going to know based on where you are that you likely can transfer over based on the experience you have. In the current employment environment where companies are hiring folks, I know we're in the middle of a shitstorm, but they still are. Now, but there are a lot of people that are looking for jobs and a lot of people that are trying to change careers. So it's a little bit more difficult in the current climate to elevate your title, assuming all things equal and that you're going for advanced roles, meaning as a senior manager or whatever, you don't actually have the goods to do this job yet, okay? So I would be careful. Now, but you asked me about the career profile specifically, and it is okay to say experienced product manager, of which you are, right? You don't need to use a title. The career profile, in fact, I don't love using a title in the career profile. I would like to use the verb noun or the noun, adjective noun, one of those configurations, and you did that perfectly. But I think it's important that we talk that one out a bit, okay? So I hope that helps. Rula, thank you, Andy, for your recent email about my daily routine. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Loved it. I have a question about using the calendar instead of the to-do list. These lists are indeed like a graveyard. Okay, where is the question? Is it just that you're wondering how I do that? Okay, so this is what I do as quickly as I can explain it. I use, right now, if you're wondering, a Best Self Co. Planner, okay, because they have journals. I like the planner. It's a 6-month planner. This is what I'm using till the Andy LaCivita journal comes out, or till the Andy LaCivita planner comes out, of which it will at some point, because I got to make my own. All right, but I use this. Now, I have an electronic calendar, and I have master lists. Okay, configuration-wise. We have projects that we're going to do for the next year. We have projects that we're going to do for the next quarter. We have projects that are being done this month in September when we're doing this live. And I know what is on those lists and what level of detail we need to write to make work plans or whatever related to the things that we do. Okay, so in September, then September gets broken down by week. And then the weeks get broken down by day. Every week, I plan what needs to be done the next week. And on the next week and on every given day, on any given day of the week, for every week of the year, immediate projects get done and maintenance projects get done. So maintenance, we all have these in our lives. A maintenance project, it's not as mundane as it sounds. It's something I love. Every Tuesday at 6:30, you get a digest. Every Thursday morning at 7 a.m., you get another digest that tells you to come to the live show, right? Kind of thing. You got one this morning. Okay, we know those are there. Social media has to be planned. What's the video of the week? All that good stuff. All that's allocated. And then there are short-term projects, like I have coaching sessions with people. We might be having a special event or whatever. And then all of those have activities related to them. The week before, I list out all the activities for the week that need to be taken care of in the short term, the midterm, and the long-term projects that I do, because a certain amount of work needs to be done on these major things. So we got something coming up in October. I'm working on it now, but I work on it now. It says you have to allocate so much time on your calendar each day to do longer term stuff. Otherwise, the longer term stuff becomes urgent and overwhelming. Okay, so here's what I do. I never put a daily to-do list together. Okay, so I have a weekly list of items that need to be taken care of. So as an example, we've got a leadership monthly. Hopefully you'll join the program next Friday. Well, one of the items that has to be done this week for that is there's a reminder that needs to go out tomorrow to all the people in the program. So I got to write that. Okay, well, that's on a major list that's in this booklet. And then I allocate on the calendar where that's going to be done. And then I don't put a to-do list for the day. Each day, the night before, so like tonight, I will look at tomorrow's calendar and I will make sure that all the items that need to be done are allocated if there are not slots already taken. But I know how to plan proactively those slots because certain things need to be done. Okay, so I don't put a to-do list that says tomorrow I have these 8 things to do. I don't. I have a calendar that says from 8:01 to 8:15, I'm doing this. From 8:16 to 8:59, I'm doing that, or whatever. And at that slot, it may say complete that. So the deliverable coincides with the time that's scheduled because what gets scheduled gets done. And never shall the schedule ever change because I have to proactively plan what I need to make sure is accounted for. So I do not sit there in the middle of the day looking at email. I do not sit there in the middle of the day looking at a list for next week. I'm looking at and focusing on what am I doing at 8:16, right? Okay, something's got to occur. Okay, I got to call the team. All right, we're going to have a Zoom session. Okay, I got to meet with the marketing team. Okay, like those kind of things. Everything is done based by time. I have lists. I don't have a daily to-do list. The to-dos are done. They're planned the night before. The goals are set. The deliverables are set. I know the time where the deliverable needs to be completed and it needs to be done. That's the difference. If you put a daily to-do list together, what did I say in the email? A daily to-do list is a graveyard, right? Where long-term and non-urgent activities go to die, right? You focus only on the short-term crap and then you allow yourself to get interrupted. Don't. I would get tons of stuff done. I really do. I hope that helps. Mohammed, my friend, my boot camper, Andy, where and how often should I post my new projects? I build machine learning stuff for the oil industry, but I want to know where exactly to post and how often. I would start, you're a young guy, I would start with LinkedIn. And I would cross-section my stuff. So if you build machine learning stuff, you want to talk about machine learning stuff. You want to talk about the concepts in the oil industry. Then you want to talk about machine learning in the oil industry. There's a number of different ways you want to cross-develop what it is because machine learning, you might not always want to. Do you want to be known as a machine learning expert, or do you want to be known as an oil and gas expert, or do you want to be known as a machine learning and in oil and gas expert kind of thing? So you basically want to start decorating your page with different things, and then you want to circulate it, and don't worry about if not a lot of people are commenting. It's okay. Just get it out into the world. The people who use the hashtags and other things, people will find it. Paul Barnes. Oh, and you're asking me how often. So I love if it was just me and I was a project manager or I was in machine learning or I was a salesperson or something like that, I'd put 2 things out a month. That's what I would do. I mean, 20, right? 24 things. You can't figure out 24 things to say. And then you can update what you said, right? Hey, part 2, part 3, part 4, you break it up. 10-stage thing. Do that over 2 months, right? Hey, let's talk about best tactic. Hey, here's project manager. Here's the 10-item work plan. And then briefly explain what each one is. Hey, part 1 of the series, let's look in depth at engaging with the stakeholders in the blah blah meeting and the 3 best things you need to do here and the 3 biggest mistakes people make. Then, all right, now you're a month out. Now, in 2 more weeks, you're writing about part 2. You could do that over a whole course, a whole year, right? You know what I'm saying? Paul Barnes, project manager, what information to put it out there in LinkedIn if only information I have is bullets on my resume? Paul Barnes, I would beg to differ. Where's my quote card that seems to be all in disarray here about? It's around you every day. If you're a project manager, you're doing great stuff every single day. You got to look for its applicability, right? Here is a template that every project manager should have so that when they jumpstart their project, here's the activities that generally go into these sections and a definition of what these are. I mean, all the stuff you do and anything that you do that's a complete deliverable that's awesome can be reverse engineered and sanitized and put out into this world. And don't give me any nonsense about it being proprietary, because nothing is. Nothing's new in this world. Okay, it isn't. It's been done, and you heard my comments in the recording about. Believe me, it doesn't matter. MK, joining late, but starting at the beginning, very timely and much needed. I landed my current job 1.5 years ago. Yes, you did, and you joined the leadership. You're my boot camper and leader, so it's worth the investment in my career. Yes, and Beth Fanger, my issue was that at my last job, I branded myself so well that I pigeonholed into a niche, and I knew I could do so much more. Okay, so if you feel like you're getting the brand, right? Like I'm only this. How many of you, show of hands, found me because of job searching? Right? How many people are still here? I don't know. I have no idea how many people are here. 340 people, awesome, at least, right? So of you 340 people that are still here with me, how many of you found me from job searching? Probably 320, right, kind of thing. So what did I do? Well, I did my first thing first. So then you thought I was niched, right? But I wasn't niched. But when I was doing my first thing, wouldn't a lot of you say, I'd be willing to ask this thinking that I know what your response would be. When you came to my job searching stuff, did you notice how every time we talk about something you ask me job search related, I explain why that's important to you, how I would consider it and do it, and the mistakes you're going to make, and I explained all that stuff. And as I was telling you the whys and the wherefores and the how-to steps and the mistakes you're going to make and what to avoid, I was also mixing in real-life lessons, real-life stories, real practical business experience, and there was always an undercurrent to that embodied in anything I ever teach you guys. That's right. Well, number one, that's because I care and I want to take the time to explain it. Number two, I think it's important because I also don't think that you get that kind of stuff. And I also think in order for you to be effective when I'm not sitting here on the video for you, that you need to plan on the fly when all of a sudden something different happens. You now have context of why I said what I said, and now you need to use your smart brain and think about, well, that my situation is now changed. What do I do? All that good stuff. All that stuff is part of me building my brand. It's the long-term view of knowing that eventually I was going to offer you something else. And the time I needed to turn the switch and put the leadership program out there, what did I rely on? This halo effect that goes along with the way you conduct whatever it is you're doing, whatever your niche is. Okay, so I said, well, a lot of these folks have seen in the packaging, in the stories, in the whatever, and I think they will trust in that I can teach them these kind of things, these other things about high performance, self-help, and stuff that they haven't seen from me yet. Okay, so the first thing that I want to mention to Beth is, and everybody, as you do whatever it is that you do, can you go that one step greater in doing it? And Mohammed, we were just talking about when I said, hey, don't just talk about machine learning in oil and gas, talk about machine learning concepts. Talk about how that might apply across industries. Then talk about how it applies in oil and gas. Then talk about how does it apply in other. That should be very easy for you to find and figure out, right? How would it be applicable in manufacturing? How would it be applicable in chemicals? Whatever it might be. So Beth, now what you need to do is start building your knowledge bank and your brand around other things that you are interested in places that you want to go. By the way, when I showed you that leadership page, that career accelerator program, that $400 program that's available once you join the leadership program, not the dollar trial, but once you join the leadership program, it talks about how do you position yourself for the long term, for getting promoted and all that other stuff, as far as the relationships you build and how you put the long-term stuff together. That has to be taken into consideration. So you got pigeonholed because you became an expert at something, and that's great, but you also need to nurture your long-term view of how you want to be seen. Okay, so I mentioned in the recording today that I knew in 2015 that within 5 years, actually it was sooner, I beat the clock, that I was going to be offering leadership coaching, although no one even saw job search coaching from me yet, right? You have to, the longer term you think, I said that too in the recording, right? The longer term you think. So while you might be in that situation now, I think you start planting the seeds for growing. What do you see on Instagram from me every single day now? Every single day. There's not a job search tip. There's two job search tips usually, and then there's the quote cards, and then there's the today's tip. The today's tip has nothing to do with job searching, and they never will, because that's the brand I'm building, and that's the medium I'm building it on, and you'll see it on YouTube as well. But that's what I'm doing. So you got to think long term. That's great. Audrey Musgrave. Okay, wait, you're really going to love this. Okay, this is really funny. Audrey, you don't even know this yet, and I hope you're still here to hear this. Audrey Musgrave, Andy, I accepted a job offer today. Thank you for your help. I want to be part of your leadership group going forward. I'm so happy to be part of this community. Thank you. And Ashley Musgrave and everybody, thanks to Ashley, on Tuesday, a video is coming out about the best question to ask a startup in a job interview. It's about a 6-minute video. It's really good. And Audrey, thanks to you. And I want to say, I don't know when that clip was, but it's an awesome one. I want to thank you for that question. It's going to give everybody a great video. And it's not just for startups, it's for small to medium-sized businesses. I would love, will you do me a favor and send me an email at support@milewalk.com and tell me about the company and what happened. I'll read it. I will. I would love to hear from you. I really would. Oh man, that's awesome. Brandon Bradford, would one's integrity, code of conduct, and how they interact with others be considered a portion of one's brand? Damn straight. Okay? Everything that comes out of this thing here, actually, I would go so far back to say everything that's thought up here and how you share it with your company, your community, your networking groups, it is definitely part of your brand. It really is. There's no escaping that. And the way that you carry yourself is an all the time thing. I genuinely believe that. And especially in this world where we are so accessible, so frequently seen at the weirdest of times, the social media where a lot of us share our lives with the world, but definitely the way you behave and how you operate inside your companies and inside your communities is a resounding yes. Your brand is everything associated with you. It's everything. It's all the time. It's all the time, right? A big part, you've never heard me ever, not one time, talk about politics, right? I will never talk about politics. I will never talk about religion. I will never talk about those kind of things. It's not anything I want associated with my brand. My beliefs are not as easily packaged into a 2-party or a 3-party system. There's infinitely many religions that are out there. There's, I don't want to be labeled, because I actually don't believe in any of that stuff. But so all of that is carefully managed by me. You could ask me my philosophies on certain political issues. Wouldn't consider it a political issue. I would consider politicians having political stances on things, right? About, supporting this or supporting that, or the environment or the economy or the whatever, right? It's not politics, it's your personal stance. And it's a political stance it becomes. But anyway, I think your code of conduct and your integrity and the way you carry yourself and the way you portray yourself and what you share is every bit is a part of that. Vivian, how to get past being an introvert with not a very large social base and hard to sell myself. Vivian, I don't think you need to put that kind of pressure on yourself where you have to share yourself with everybody. You are, as an introvert, so I know you guys are going to laugh. You're not going to believe this. But I am outgoing, but I am a total introvert as far as like, if you get like the 100 different characteristics, I'm like 90 of them, okay? As far as how I do what I do. Now, I'm willing to share because all I care about is you, okay? But I like my alone time. I spend a lot of time alone. I spend a lot of time recharging. I spend a lot of time. Like, there's a lot of things that I do that you would never probably guess. But I think it's about you wanting to share, and you don't have to expose yourself. It's like, write an article, put it out, just share it, just send it out there. You don't have to be, on all charged up. It just share your opinion. You think about them. What stands in most of our way is we think about us. So, and Vivian, this is not specific to you, just most people. I'm not confident. I don't think there's any value. Well, I'm nervous on stage. I don't want to get on camera. I don't want to, I don't want to be judged. It's because you're thinking about you. Think about them. All that stuff goes away. You do this next time you have to get up in front in a large meeting or on a stage or a whatever. You got stage fright. You're nervous about what you're saying. You're not confident in what you're doing. It's because you're thinking about you. Think about them and how you're helping them and what you're offering and all that research you did and the fact that you were invited to do this, or you're invited to speak up in the meeting, you're invited to share your opinion, you were invited to get whatever on a television. You're helping others. Think about them. All of a sudden your nervousness will go away because you're focused on them. You can't focus on two things at once. You can think about multiple things at once. You can't truly focus on two things at once, right? So I would do that. You don't need to sell yourself. Medina, if I heard correctly before, Andy said why we overvalue ourselves, not undervalue ourselves. Overvaluing would be not being in touch with reality, also a problem. How not to overvalue yourself. Easiest way not to overvalue yourself is overvalue yourself, and then you're going to determine that you overvalued yourself. I'm not actually kidding. Like 9 out of 10 people, they undervalue what they know. This guy undervalues what he knows. I had to stop that. So what did I do? Have you guys seen my video on the 3 best ways to overcome your fears? One of those techniques is to overquote it. Okay, so what do? I'm not going to give a tip a week. I'm going to give them one every damn day, right? I'm going to take the extra time. I'm going to give them a tip a day, right? All the simplest things in my life, right? You guys probably read about the menu board. You got my keys over there. I got my journals over there. There's a place for everything. Everything is placed. Why everything has to have, a certain object. Like, right? I'm not going to overvalue anything. I'm just going to shove it out there. I'm not going to undervalue it. I'm not going to overvalue it. I'm just going to rep it, and then we'll see what happens. And then all of a sudden it becomes easier. I get faster at it, and then a number of people are like, damn, that was so helpful. Okay, now I'm not undervaluing that anymore, and you just keep going, right? And so you gotta rep it. You gotta you're a salesperson. You're nervous about making 10 calls a day. Make 100, kind of thing. Okay, if you think you're overvaluing yourself. And I don't want to mix this up with, you think you deserve more pay, okay? You think you deserve more pay. I want you to go in there and negotiate and lean on the value you're going to bring, okay? But overvaluing what you know or what you do, that's a rare occurrence. And I think that you usually get rudely awakened very quickly on that. Nancy Griffin, how are you, Nancy? Is it okay to keep high-quality YouTube videos that are fitness-related, but not the same ones I do now? The business name's changed, but I still do health and fitness. Okay, so here's my view. If you guys all want to have a good laugh at me, you go out to my YouTube channel and you watch my video on how to write a thank you note after a job interview. I was sick that day. It was the first video I created on my YouTube channel. It is awful in terms of delivery, potency, speed, and every other factor. It took me 13 minutes to say something I can say now in under 60 seconds, and it's still out there on the channel. And why? Because every single day people watch it and they send me nice comments and they say how much it helped them. And that's all I care about. To take it down would be an indictment of my ego. I actually get a kick out of the people that say, Annie, I watched some of your early videos. I can't believe that's you. But I kept watching. Thank you for that, that you hung with me. But I know that happens. So with you, do you know that sometimes we cut videos? You might see some of the videos on YouTube from me where the quality is not very good. We're probably cutting from a Zoom session that I did a long time ago, but there was a real valuable clip and it's kind of grainy or whatever. I got over that. Zip it right out. How did I prove that? Well, every week I put these higher quality videos, or I shoot them with the good camera. I put them out there and they get whatever, 2,000 views or 5,000 views. Throw a grainy one out there, 100,000 views in a week. I'm like, I don't judge anymore. It's like, is that valuable? Yes. Will that help them? Yes. Out it goes. Right? That's it. So Nancy, if those fitness videos that you shot that might not be as high quality, or anything that you think like that's the brand, keep it. Don't worry. People want that. I watch some really cruddy the videos, 480, 360, whatever. I don't care. As long as I can hear you. Right? So that's what I do. Shoni Newell, how to answer what makes you unique. Shoni, you are a boot camper. What I would do there is, number one, I would go to the interview intervention book and I would look at, I think it's the third, might even be this. First question is like, why do you want to leave your current company? Second question is, what value can you bring? I think it's like number 2. The answer's right there. It's right there in the packet. And I would just lean on that. Maya B, you've been a gem. You helped me land a job with a 30% increase and free medical insurance in the middle of a pandemic. Maya B, I love to hear that. And I hope that serves as, and huge congrats to you. And thank you for sharing that. And for any of you that are wondering, like, what's going on in the world, companies are still hiring. Please believe that. And now you need to make sure that you're looking in the right place. Okay, you can't be calling Marriott when they're laying off all those people, right? You can't be calling American Airlines when they're laying off all those people, right? Like that, you got to pick and choose the right organizations. And if you're having any trouble, may I suggest, I have a video out there. Well, I have a lot of stuff on the coronavirus and how to think through it, but I have a video out there on the 4 company types that are, and it's still applied. I shot it back in March or very early April, but it's still applicable. But I would check that out. The 4 types of companies right now. It's really good. It's actually a clip out, I think, of or I'm not sure if it's a clip out of an hour-long session that I did. It was kind of like a webinar I did on YouTube. But Maya, that's awesome. Laura Cobb, my boot camper and my leader, how are you? When will I know when to stop giving it away? Continue to do pro bono, and it feels so good when I offer, and then I have to pay rent. Laura Cobb, hello, welcome to my life. So here's what I think. You should stop giving it away. So wait, let me be really clear about what I'm saying. Right this minute, okay? I want you to have stuff you give away and stuff that you charge for. So you're in health and fitness, I think, right? I think you are like a high-end trainer or something like that. I know there's a lot to what you do, and I know that you have your own business. But what I say is, if you are in the service industry like you are, and if you are have a model where you're doing some pro bono stuff, I think there needs to be a cut line. Like, for example, hey, Annie, if you want a training session, what I do is I do a free 15-minute or 30-minute consultation on the phone. And we just talk about what you're interested in, and I give you some ideas of what you can do on your own. And then if you'd like to meet with me, I send you this packet, you join me here, or whatever, right? Like, there's some cut line. Right now, what I say about me is I want my brand to be, that damn guy is the most generous trainer I've ever seen. Okay, that's what I want my brand to be. Now, you may or may not believe that. I hope you do. But Okay, so what I do is I figure out what is it that I really want to provide as a service. So like some of you, if you think I'm selling you a resume template, that ain't it. I'm selling you a whole new life for your job changing, right? For those of you in the leadership program, for $1 trial, which is basically free, you're going to get a taste of what the whole program looks like, right? I'm selling you a way better life. You get into that program and a community and all that other stuff, right? And a coach will be there for you and so on. So what I like to do is I like to draft my line. Here's the free line. Here's the free line. Here's the paid line. And then as I get into it and I know the service I'm providing, then I try to move the free line. I call it moving the free line. Did you not all attend a 10-hour free resume workshop a couple of weeks ago, right? Kind of thing, right? That's moving the free line. That ain't a resume template, right? That ain't the resume content builder was moving the free line. Me showing up for 10 hours is crazy moving the free line, right? Kind of thing. So you have to find that balance. But I'm moving this way, and that means my free stuff moves this way too. And you got to figure out where that cut line is. Stella KN, I did respond to you. I do offer one-on-one coaching. I have multiple kinds of coaching. I need job search help. Okay, so the job search help coaching, you can. There's a couple ways to do it. The least expensive way to do it, which is always on people's mind, is to join my job search bootcamp. You get in my job search bootcamp so you have the foundational stuff that you need, and then you can enroll a la carte in hour-long Zoom sessions with me. We do them, we record them for you. They're live, right? We do them one-on-one, just you and me, and then I would help you with your particular situation. Some people use it to help me guide them on their path. Some people use it to help me coach them in interviewing. Some people want negotiating help. Sometimes it's multiple sessions. Sometimes it's just one. There's that arm. Then I also do high performance coaching. I want to be the best damn salesperson ever. Okay, I'll make you the best damn salesperson ever. You better believe it, because I will teach you how to sell and everything you need to do and how to sell and what skills you need to grow and how you need to think, right? You want to be a great project manager. You want to be a great accountant. You want to elevate yourself in your career. So there's high performance coaching as well. I need to know what you need, and then we figure out, well, the job search one's very simple, but the high performance one, people are different. Some people want to meet once a month. Some people want to meet once a quarter. Some people want to meet once a week, and then once a month, and then once a quarter. So it's different. So I wasn't sure. I see. What guidance can you give to somebody who's applying for a job in an area outside but related to their field? Well, I can tell you everything you need to do. One thing that I would suggest, I don't know how new you are to my community. I have a career changer playlist that's out there that has a lot of things that I would suggest that you look at before you start paying me for coaching. There's just a number of really great things that you need to do. So if you're applying outside but related to your field, then it's about accenting your resume. How do you focus the employer in on that stuff? If it's whole out career changing, I could teach you how to build your brand. I could teach you the steps you need to make. There's videos out there on how a career changer can win the job interview. 10 things you need to do in the job interview to win it. All that stuff's out there. That's free. That's all on my YouTube channel. But if you want, I have coached people on how to make complete changes. There's some people, like I was a tech person, I want to be a marketing person, that they didn't have the skills, and I had to coach them on exactly what to say and how to look and how to translate what they knew into marketing speak. I could do that for you. When I said I had versatility, I meant I have versatility. So whatever you need, I can help you. It's usually a matter of money for people, so that could be an issue. But anyway, just support at manwalk.com. Anant, if the articles and posts are not valuable, will it have a negative brand image? I love this question. All right, if articles and posts are not that valuable, will it have a negative brand image and hiring managers may not want to engage? I do not think that will be the case. Number one, I don't think that will be the case. I think what you write will be valuable. It will be. And it's in the packaging. Stylistically, if you're not sure how to do that, there's loads of examples on the internet. You can even look at the way I do things, right? So all of that is great. I do not believe in any way, shape, or form. And if you start to get questions from a hiring official about things you wrote, that's a damn good sign. It really is. And you can say, you know what? I was trying to share with the world, right? I was trying to get my thoughts out there because I know a lot of people can use help on that. I'd take that guy. I could teach you how to write articles. I could teach you the concepts. I could teach you how to be a whatever you are kind of thing, right? So I that is a great question. It really is. It's not one I think I saw as I was going through the chat. Whoa, Drew Carlson, my buddy. Have the same question myself. If I throw something out there, I'm assuming you are my Drew Carlson, buddy. How you do it? Say hi to Jan, and I'm assuming the kids are like all grown up now. Have the same question myself. If I throw something out there now that is relevant to my current position but isn't aligned to what I want to do in 6 months, I would always say go. Do not minimize the value of you are a giver. That is part of your brand, right? So, and Drew Carlson, I know you got a lot of good things to say, man. Get that stuff out there. You know, I understand what you guys are saying, but there's stuff on my YouTube channel that, right, at some point, I'm going to be way gone from job searching. You're never going to see me again on that stuff, right? It's all going to be about this other stuff. Now, there's a long runway. Don't worry about that. But, you know, no, I think put it out. I think put it out. I really do. I would. Spend the time. And hope you're well. Denise, LinkedIn shows that I'm mostly found when people search for my current title. That's true. I don't like my job and want to change. Will I be harder to find once I change my profile? I don't think so. Just make sure the nomenclature is there. Now, your title, you could leave your title if you want. You know what I mean? So if you don't like your job and you change, I would not be worried because your title is going to be your title. By the way, Denise, I hope you don't mind me sharing this about the boot camp. So I know this is kind of a leadership show today, but I know a lot of you have interest in my job search boot camp. We ran a huge promotion. That promotion is over, but I want to say two things. If you are interested in this is kind of leadership related too. There's 3 ways to get in my leadership program. You try the dollar trial. You can get in through the regular monthly or annual subscription. But if you are a boot camper, you get a discount on the month to month. Now, Denise is a boot camper. One other thing about the boot camp is I will, if you want, so 2 things are really quick. I will give you the $100 off promotion that I just ran if you email us to support@milewalk.com and just say, hey, I was on Andy's show. I want to get in the program. Can you give me the $100 coupon? We'll do that. But the second thing is Denise got in the boot camp maybe a couple of years ago, got a job and got a huge pay increase, loved her job, but was affected by COVID. So she is able to come right back into the live private group coaching sessions in the boot camp. She's got all the upgrades to all the things that I've added to the boot camp since she got her new job, and she does not have to pay any further premium or any subscription. The boot camp is a one and done. You got it for life, and you get attendance at the coaching sessions for life. So I know she recently communicated with us and said that she came back because her job was affected by COVID. For whatever reason, you come back 5 years later, we're still running those coaching sessions because I believe a big part of having a great program is having live coaching to support you as you go through the program because you go at your own rate. We also have online support. So anyway, Denise, I hope all goes well. I know you're going to find a new job quickly. I mean, you're a great person, and I know you enjoyed that job. And I'm sorry to hear that the COVID, affected this, but I know you'll be back at it in no time. So I would not worry about that. That's a great question. AC, maybe that's Ann. Maybe you're my boot camper too. Can your personal brand be more than one subject matter? It most certainly can. My brand is career and leadership coach, right? It's a right job searching. A lot of you know me, and you know me for leadership. Some of you know me for one, some of you know me for the other, and some of you know me for both. So what if you want to share from two separate industries? I think that's okay. It's okay for you to have versatility like that. What I might do is I would try to have a common thread. So like I have a common thread even though I have 2 curriculums, right? I have job searching help and I have career development or high performance or self-help help. Okay? But it's all one, I view it as it's all one person, right? It's all one person. It's all you. It's all giving you a better life, and there's a foundation to it. So, and when I was talking about Mohammed before, he was talking about the machine learning, right? And I said oil and gas, but you might have other industries. Or you might just have multiple things. You might have a sales thing, and you might have a marketing thing. You might want to do those things. That's okay too. It's okay to be known for multiple things. It's okay. For sure. Karen Board, my boot camper, what is the sweet spot for activity on LinkedIn? I don't know, I'm like every hour. Depends what you're pushing. LinkedIn recently sent me stats of my reactions, comments, reshares, posts. What's the ideal activity, numbers, frequency, not to annoy? This is what I think. Horses for courses. All right, so you asked about LinkedIn, but let's broaden this. On LinkedIn and Twitter, I post, Stacy, what do we post? Every hour? Every 30 minutes? I have no idea how much stuff I post on LinkedIn and Twitter because people's attention spans last like it's like a gnat, right? Like it's gone. And you're not always being circulated to your whole group, to all your followers. You're not. LinkedIn sucks that way, okay? So you think a lot of people are seeing it and a lot of people ain't really seeing it, all right? So I would not be, for you, circulating every hour, right? That's not what I would do. With LinkedIn, if I was trying to build my brand, you got to remember something. Now, I was thinking about these other platforms for a reason. On YouTube, what do you see me? One time a week in recorded show and one time live. That's excessive, right? Right? Once a week, every week live. That's excessive. That's YouTube. Instagram, what's Instagram? Instagram is you get now 5 posts per day, and they're all unique, and we never repeat them. So I don't know if you know this, but if you look at my Instagram feed, you'll see a quote card, then you'll see a video, then you'll see a quote card, then you'll see a video. We've never put the same things on twice. So that's one and done because of the platform itself. So if somebody goes to my Instagram feed, they can scroll through it, and everything should be unique. All right, so that's one time. Now, that's me for a day. Actually, it's 5 a day because I'm now shooting you your today's tips, and I'm trying to get them out Monday through Friday. I think I did Monday through Saturday last week. So you have to think about it. Now, on LinkedIn, you have to realize the attention span is short. So, but on Instagram, when people look at my feed, whether it's the picture feed with the thumbnails or whether it's the IGTV feed with all the videos over a minute, they see a whole platform that lives right ad infinitum, and it's all unique. But what you're mostly concerned about when you're branding yourself on LinkedIn is use the long form articles so that they sit there like they sit on my Instagram feed. Okay, so you wanna put it there, and then you can circulate that thing once a day. Trust me, not a lot of people are gonna see it. That isn't the point. The point is you get it out. Who wants to see it sees it. Who wants to go to your profile and look at what you wrote will do that. Okay? So if I'm you guys. This is a great question. On LinkedIn, I would write the article probably 2 times a month. And then I would circulate the article 3-4 times a week. And then the following week, 3-4 times a week. But now the next week, you got 2 articles. 3-4 times a week. Right? Then was it take you, okay, now we use Hootsuite, right? So we schedule everything. You could do that if you wanted. There's a free version of Hootsuite that would allow you to take an hour and put link to text Monday 8 o'clock, link to text Wednesday noon, link to text Friday 3. 30 seconds. That's what that would take. And then you don't even have to sit there. Or you could pick your phone up at lunch and you could say, I'm going to share my article. Boom, and you do that. Right? Like, the other thing about your brands, if you share my stuff or somebody else's stuff that you like that also is speaking on topics that you are speaking about, that gets views, right? Tag the person, Annie, this is a great article, whatever. Annie's talking about getting over your fears, whatever. Annie's talking about how to, whatever, find a job. You know what I mean? Like, go follow all the people that you think are cool, share their stuff. Your thing will light up. Your view count will light up. Okay, it will. So pick your time. Like, you don't need to live on social media. Every morning you want to share something, just share something. Boom, boom, share. I love this article. Bang. Here's my thoughts. Yes, great point, and this. I mean, believe me, you would not believe how much more traffic you will get. And then you will start earning, building your brand. Let me see. We are, Kara, I'm going to run down to 1:30. I'm having such a great time. I don't want to quit. Let's see. Testimonial here. She's got Keisha signing in late after having a great interview. Thank you, Annie, for these fantastic and high energy Thursday events. You are welcome. I'm moving to an interview with Senior Vice President next week for an executive level position. Awesome. Good luck. That's awesome. Oh, Stacy's telling me it's every hour on LinkedIn. Oh, and Twitter. I think Twitter is like my least favorite platform, and I think it's like a few times a day we post. But anyway, that's great stuff. And Kara, yes, I would love more questions because there's still 300 people here, and they're hopefully enjoying themselves. All right, wait. It's okay. You got the dollar trial. That thing ends today, 5 o'clock. We're not kidding. That's boom. The page goes down. But next Friday, how to deal with difficult people, and it's great. You get a workbook like that. The show will be kind of like this, although I like to see everybody on the camera in the Zoom thing now. That's totally fun. On the boot camp, job search boot camp, if you want to get in, email us at support. If you got questions about coaching sessions, email us at support. Connect up with me on Instagram. Connect up with me on LinkedIn. Let's get connected, first degree. On those sites, and follow the Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. All that good stuff. What we got more questions? Give me one so I can start talking. My team is typing. Here we go. Tiago, my buddy, how you doing? Andy, I changed jobs a lot. No particular reason, always different things, but I learn a lot and fast. My brand could be being dynamic, but changing jobs is not something not well seen. How to overcome it? Buddy, you need to do one of a couple things. You either, if you can swing it, get in my job search bootcamp so we can get you on the straight and narrow with the self-awareness stuff, with your focal points, with your direction, and with how to find the right job that you love so you could stay. Or if you can't swing that, at least watch my video on how to find the right job. So how to find the right job for you, I think that's on YouTube. That's a free version. The other thing that I would do is if you need to explain it, watch the Job Hopper video just so you have it in your repertoire. But it is about making sure that you are identifying the right requirements and mapping them carefully. You will not switch. You will not switch it. If the thing about decisions and making good ones, right? Oh, this is so obvious to everybody, right? Everybody would know this. Why would I even say this? You have decision-making mechanics and you have information, okay? When you have a lot of the information and you have the right decision-making mechanics, you make well-informed, educated, and proper decisions that you can live with for a long time. If you are missing information, that's a skill to get it, right? But also knowing the direction you want to go and then figuring out the questions you need to ask to get there and then assessing it properly. All those things have to contribute. So check that out, and I think that will help you. It's I get it's a tough thing, but really it's a good question. Lacole there, let's see, is it Lacole there? Is huge discrepancy between my CV and the real person. When people see my CV, sometimes will be screened out, but when they see me, they change their mind. How to close the gap? The CV quality is good. So what you're saying, when you say there's a discrepancy between the CV and the real person, wait, Kara, hold the question. That's way too many. I'm not following you here. When they see your CV, if you get screened out, that's a CV issue. I'm not sure why you're getting screened out. I'm wondering, I would be willing to bet that you do not know why you're getting screened out. I would be checking out my resume videos for that. And then how to close the gap, they should be in alignment. I mean, I'm not sure how to respond to that one. Douglas Backstrom, is it Backstrom? I really, really connect to this part of your talk. As an introvert, it takes a bit of extra things to put out there. Awesome. Let's see, what is it? Ilsa, maybe it's Ilsa. Any advice on how to make the shift from senior professional to consultant in a different field? So I would make sure that I was branding myself as a consultant in the different field by creating collateral or whatever you need. It's a tall order to go start consulting in a different field. Let me give you a great example. I was an IT exec, right? You heard this in the talk. I was an IT executive. I'd never recruited a day in my life. I opened a recruiting firm. Okay, that's what I did. What you just asked, that's what I did. A recruitment consultant. So I had to have the overlap between who I was now and who my buyer was. And you have a buyer for your consulting services. My overlap was, I understand your business. I understand you. I understand the kind of people you're looking for. I've done those jobs. Where are you going to get that? Where are you going to get that kind of insight? That was my message. I thought of the story. That's what they got. What happens when I tried to recruit you? Hey, I was you. I know your pain. I know what you're going through. I know what you're telling me. I know what every acronym was that you just spit out of your mouth. Right, kind of thing. Okay, that's the story that they get. You have got to find, and I didn't know a better way to illustrate this other than to share that. You've got to find that overlapping section that creates that story. I'll tell you what, though. For those of you that are jumping into the leadership program, the power of your personal story is what answers that question. That session, you got the how to build your personal brand session today, but the session on the power of your personal story goes into how you talk your story to people, how you build your stories, and how you talk it. So it's but that's what I would do. You got to look for the way in. There's a crevice there somewhere. Callie, I've been told many times that no one wants to read a 2+ page resume for a legal secretary. I certainly do not. Is this a good idea? My resume shows 2 jobs equaling 20 years and not 30. If you have 2 jobs, you should be able to get that thing down to a page. But 2 pages should be a piece of cake. It really should. I would highly recommend checking out my resume writing videos. I mean, there's a resume playlist on YouTube. You do not need more than 2 pages as a legal secretary. You don't. And by the way, I was recently offered a job, but they would not come up in dollars, and benefits cost twice as much of what I'm paying now. You've got to show your value. I mean, you could walk away from that, and I understand that they won't come up, and I appreciate the benefit situation, because not all companies are going to create the packages the same way, and it can be very, very expensive. So, I mean, I would go to my salary negotiation playlist. By the way, of course, all of these questions that you guys are asking me related to job searching, we crush them in the Job Search Boot Camp. That's the premium program. But obviously there's an enrollment, an investment cost to that. So, all right, folks, I got to run. All right, I love this session. I'll leave it up. We'll send you. Kara's going to go and do all the back office, back of the house, she calls it, or whatever she calls it, stuff. If you've registered to get the workbook, very shortly, we're going to be sending you an email. Be on the lookout. If you have not gotten in the dollar trial, you're probably going to get an email that says last call, right? That thing's closing at 5, which is in 3.5 hours. And if you happen to be registered for this and you happen to be in the dollar trial, we're going to send you a very quick email on here's your workbook, click the link, go get the thing. So I love this stuff. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. If I did not get to your question, I'm so sorry. Go into the comments underneath the video and just ask me. I will do my best to try to comment on these. But if you need more help, just ask in the comments section. If you ever need anything, support@malwalk.com. I will see you Tuesday with Audrey Musgrave's video. on the best question to ask a startup. We are here next week, regular live office hours. I'm sure it's probably just going to be a Q&A next Thursday because I got a lot of stuff going next week. And then Friday next week, I'm with my leaders, with the crew on how to deal with difficult people. All right, you guys are awesome. I love this stuff. Thank you so much for coming. It means the world to me. It really does. All right, you guys be good.